कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतक्लेशनाशाय श्री गोविंदाय नमो नमः। नमस्ते गुरुदेवाय सर्वसिद्धिप्रदायिने सर्वमंगलरूपाय विवेकानंद विधायिने। My respectful pranams to all of you. My pranam to the divine presence of Thakur in all your hearts. And with that I seek your blessings this evening. At this historic celebration of the 125th anniversary of the foundation of Sri Ramakrishna Mission, it is very appropriate to look at the ideas and ideals of its founder and see if they are relevant in our fast-changing times. Despite my all conceits, I find myself totally incapable and incompetent for what I have been ordered to offer. However, with due humility, I may only repeat what I have learned from the Gurus here in this evening. Ever since I entered the sacred space of Sri Balaram Mandir, I have been fervently seeking the blessings of the Mandir itself. And the blessings came. This space asked me to travel back into time to see and listen what happened then. And let's go. Balaram Badi is no ordinary building or a house. Not only it was the chosen Baitak Khana, which our General Secretary Swamiji says is a drawing room of Thakur. And it is rightly called so, as in his 108 visits, plans were drawn. The plans were drawn which shaped human history to come. On May 1st, 1897, we hear a voice of deep conviction in this building. And the voice says, "My whole ambition in life is to set in motion a machinery which will bring noble ideas to the door of everybody. And then let men and women settle their own fate." Whose voice is this? With such noble vision and mission. We may understand this if we realize that the Indian culture is essentially dialogical yet missiological, missionary spirit. A grand mission of change it envisages, from bondage to freedom, from suffering to happiness, yatobhyudayaha nishreyasa siddhi. But what is missionary way or the process to reach this blissful goal of Ananda? The method of transformation is rooted in the ability of discriminating capacity to discriminate between true and the false. Satyanrita vastu vivekah. Satya vastu vivekah. But who will vouch for that viveka? We need someone who has vivek, and through that vivek, that person has attained Ananda. Such a guru for humanity is Swami Shri Vivekananda. Balaram Mandir heard him define his missionary ideals. Definitely we all know Atmanaha Mokshartham, one's own salvation. But he adds the end, that something else is also required, cha. And what is that second thing? Welfare of this world, the welfare of the suffering humanity and the world. And what went into forming of such a grand and integrated mission, the mission of upliftment of from spiritual to the physical. Balaram Mandir says it requires a lot of listening. For having such a grand mission and a vision, it requires a lot of listening. And here in this building and in Dakshineshwara, Swamiji had been hearing his Guru, his ideal, his Thakur, and the Varishtha Avatar, constantly and repeatedly telling the path of a seeker is Name Ruchi, Name Ruchi, Jive Doya, Vaishnava Sevan, Vaishnava Sevan. And Thakur had clearly warned that do not show off Daya. It's not for showing off. So you cannot have the pretension that you are compassionate on someone. Rather, you should serve the fellow humans as a divine service. This gospel of Seva was properly proclaimed by Swami Shri Vivekananda ji as Seva Yoga, the path of service, but not downgrading any other paths established by the Indian tradition. Swamiji said, I quote him, such a synthesis of utmost of Gyan, Yoga, Bhakti and Karma has never before appeared among humankind. Thakur, through Swamiji and Ramakrishna mission, was responding to a perennial quest for an ideal integration or integrated path of spirituality. When Bhagavad Puran says, Bhakti Gyan Viraganam Sukham Utpadyate Katham, all the paths should be equally vitalized. And I quote, that unity, Swamiji says, is in Ramakrishna's life. Balaram Mandir was listening. Balaram Mandir was listening. These walls, these courtyards were listening. These verandas were listening to the golden words which were spoken in Bengal by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nij na acharile bhakti shikhano na chahe. Bhakti shikhano na chahe. So the teaching of bhakti or the spiritual path came to humanity by the life of our Thakur. That's why Swamiji says, mission is in his name. This mission is going to be in his name because he has lived it. He has lived all the paths. Whose life inspired the Grahastha and the Sannyasta both equally. And this mission is his work, is Thakur's work. And what is this work? Fundamentally it is mokshartham. Mokshartham. And if we look at it from a modern guru's perspective, Guru Gurdjieff, a later contemporary to Swamiji, who tried to understand for us what is work. Work is giving up your own fantasies. First you get rid of your fantasies. then you convert your energies for higher goals. You awaken to one's inner experience, and when that inner experience is awakened, you discover one's relationship to everything. And when your relationship to everything is established, then Jagat Hitaya Cha. The second purpose is self-evident and inevitable. Thus, the work, quote-unquote work, expands to education, healthcare, relief, and so much we heard about the work today. Balaram Mandir also tells us that Thakur has heard loud and clear something from this land itself. Bhakti bina jagatere nahi avasthan. Bhakti bina jagatere nahi avasthan. This world will not sustain one moment without the process and act of service. And that service has not to be under duress. It has not to be for pretensions or hypocrisy, but it has to be out of love. Out of love. And this Premimayi Seva is a very difficult path to take. Seva dharmo paramagano. And more so the Prema Bhakti is more secret knowledge. And that's why Chaitanya said, that's why I did not. Chirokal ami nahi kari Prema Bhakti Dan. Because that abstract concept would have not been understood. But came May 1st, 1897, with total faith and grace of Thakur Ramakrishna Dev, Swamiji decided to properly proclaim the Seva Yoga, where he says, quote, there is beautiful reconciliation of Bhakti and Gyan as per the will of the Lord of the day. The day will soon come when I shall proclaim this grand truth before the world at large. And the Balaram Mandir has heard this time and again. Prithvite ache joto nagaradi gram sarvatra hoibe mor prachar. This has been heard in this compound time and again. And this was a unique reconciliation of heart and mind, as we witness in the meeting in this area between Thakur and Vidyasagar. Here, Thakur was laying the foundation for what the practical Vedanta was to come. Traditionally, Vedanta provides us with a system of logic to comprehend reality, and it swings back and forth between Bhed and Abhed, difference and non-difference. Yet the integrated vision or the synthesis of the different path is missing. Balaram Mandir has seen its logical foundation of the Achintya Bheda Bhed laid down by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is the logic of inclusive transcendence, which Swamiji picked up. Thakur, whose will Swamiji was carrying out, was the Varishtha Avatar. And Balaram Mandir knew it. It has heard time and again on this. Prabhur Jyotik Khela, Sarvottama Naralila. Sarvottama Naralila. And Swamiji said, the only God I believe in is He whom the ignorant call man. And Swamiji found the best man, and the best man was the Thakur. In Thakur, the highest ideal of Prem and the Premayi Seva, it radiated from him. As Swamiji says, the Premayi Seva radiated from him, and he is love personified. That's why Swamiji could see the Daridra and Rogis as Narayana. To conclude, I share some words of a wise man present with us in this room. I will not name him. He says, for 125 years of its existence, the Ramakrishna mission has held strongly to the ideas and ideals on the basis it was originally formed, and has been putting in practice what it does best, that is, manifest the potential divinity of humans by the process of equating selfless service to divine worship, that is, service to human as service to God. This path of Seva Yoga, the idea of practical Vedanta, the ideal of Premaya Seva, is all relevant, not only the past, not to our own times, but the time to come, in all times. But it comes with a warning often repeated in the Balaram Mandir by Thakur and Swamiji, when they say the Seva Yoga is possible if we are desirous of making this relevant for the future. It would be how sad, to conclude, how sad would be not to have known Swamiji, but more sad to have known him and not to have understood him. And above all, how sad to have understood him and not to have served his work. We are grateful to this great mandir, which helps us understanding Thakur's work, what Swamiji called Thakur's work. And we understand it from so many angles, but one angle which this particular Vaishnava space brings to the mission and its understanding, how it goes into the foundation of the mission, not only just building, but the work which is continuing. We are grateful to Balaram Babu, in whom Thakur saw the parikar bhav of Chaitanya himself. When Thakur saw Balaram Babu doing kirtan along with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu itself, and today we see and hear that Vani through Thakur and Swamiji, and it is time now for us not only to hear but to do the work prescribed for us. Thank you very much. Pranam.